Hey, it's me, Plus. Today, we're going to show you how to use the entire site of Roll20. First of all, when you click on the site and you create an account, this is the page it will bring you up on. Obviously, I have some games going on already. Got Layers with Tharis. This is a Star Wars game I'm running for my friends. You'll see up here, create new game. If you are a DM, this is the button you're going to click on, obviously. Now right here, you can give the name of your game. I'm just going to call it game. And below your game, you'll see some other options. None of these really matter unless you're using Jumpgate. If you're playing D&D and you just need a tabletop to play with your friends, you don't need to worry about Jumpgate or any legacy stuff. Jumpgate is just a new version of the tabletop they recently made within like the past year, I'm pretty sure. Right here, you'll see your character sheets. Now, this is important. Depending on what tabletop RPG you are playing, you will have to pick a corresponding character sheet. Now, the Roll20 D&D 2024 character sheet is the newest version, and it is up to date with the current 2024 rules. There is a legacy version if you want to play the 2014 right here. That's a classic sheet right here that I've been using for like years, for 8,000 hours. And then we also have plenty of other tabletop RPGs you can play, like Call of Cthulhu, like all the editions, and you can see some over here as well. We're just going to use the 2024 D5e by Roll20, and we're going to click I'm ready to create my game. Now, when you click on create game, you'll see this page. Click on here, you can invite people, you can copy this link and send them, or you can email them if you're weird. You can also drag and drop a picture if you'd like, and you can, as a GM, click this to launch it as a player, but you'll see within you can do that anyway. You don't have to worry about add-ons, frankly. I mean, like, these just add like maps, adventures, and all this stuff. You can look into these if you want to spend money. Down here is discussion, community stuff. I don't really interact with the community that much right now, but when you're ready, you can click launch game, and it will launch your game. So exit out of this. So when you load up, you'll see this loading. This may take forever depending on how your PC is. So as we load in, you can see a bunch of things going on your screen here. Now, we are going to structure this in terms of literally just like corners of the screen. We're going to start here at the top with page settings. We're going to go over to the tools. Then we're going to go one by one through each of these. And last, we're going to finish with settings. And hopefully you will understand enough by the time we get to settings to, be able to use them effectively. Anyway, first of all, if you click up here, you can see your page settings. This right here is the virtual tabletop. I mean, think of this as just, a table, like Tabletop Simulator, if you played that game on Steam. This little ribbon is where all the players are going to be down here. If you created the game, you are the GM. If I create a page right here, I can go to this new tabletop, and the ribbon will not be here. The players will not see until I drag it. You can also just click on this ribbon up here and just drag to the designated page you want to go on. Now you can remove the page by just clicking here. You also can't remove a page you're already on. And clicking on the gear icon, you can name the page. You can also mess with the folders up here as well. The width and height are exactly what it seems. You can see the cells right here. And the cell size only changes how big these cells literally are, like on your screen. You can change the background color to like, black or whatever you'd like. Black tabletop is low-key pretty cool. I think it looks pretty nice. And you can also change the scale. Now in Dungeons and Dragons, typically you're moving in like 5-foot squares, and so everything is measured in 5 feet. If I were to change, I'll tell you what the tools I'm using over here are in a second, don't worry. If I were to use the settings to change it to 10 feet, as you can see, it just changes the scale that each cell is measured at. Furthermore, if you go here, you can also just disable the grid full out. It will keep the scale of the grid as if the grid was there, but it will just not snap to the center when you're measuring anything. I personally don't like having a grid, but that's just me. If you want a grid, you can enable it however you like. You also change it from a grid to whatever you'd like these to be, even the Qbert grid. Yeah, page settings is very simple. We don't need to spend too long on it. You guys aren't getting caught up in the page settings and stuff. Build a map, we're going to get to that. That's going to be a completely separate tutorial as well, because scroll is a new thing. I don't even know how to use it yet. Anyway, so first things first. This is a selection tool. Similar, select, yada, yada, yada. If you put something on the map, you want to select it, click select. You can click Control S if you want to shortcut to the select tool. You can also pan, if you don't have the pan equipped, then you can right click and you will pan nonetheless. This is the drawing tool. It has multiple forms. Freehand is exactly what it sounds like. You can freehand draw on the page however you'd like, and you have pen, which creates like a little line thing. If you click, then it creates another line starting from the point you ended, and if you connect the last point, then you create whatever shape you'd like. Rectangle is a square, and ellipses is a circle. You can clear all drawings from this tab, and you will be doing that a lot the moment you give your players freedom. Now, these are the color options. This is the fill color, and it works exactly how you think with rectangles and circles. However, with freehand, it's a little bit weird. As you can see, it's like, maybe I can give you guys a different, as you can see, it's like filling as I draw. So I don't know what application you'd want to use that in, but you can do that. Then there's a text tool. I'm not going to go over the text tool too much. You could probably figure it out. But the text tool is a bit finicky. This is the color of the text. This is the outline color of the text. So if I click red, you'll see it's red outlined. Yeah. And you can shortcut to text with Control G, and you can change the font and stuff like that, yada yada. It's Microsoft. Anyway, after the text, we have the measure tool. This is the most important tool besides the panning and select tool. The measure tool allows you to measure. D&D, every tabletop RPG is based off of distance. You're, role-playing in a world. You need to know where things are, and this allows you to do that if you have a map of a place. The line, I'm going to turn back on the grid for this. You can change basically where the measurement originates from in the measurement tool section. Here you can change the shape of the measurement, so you can do a line, a square, a circle, and a cone. Squares, circles, cones. For lines, you can choose whether to snap to corner of the squares, the grid. Only works with grids. Or you can do no snapping. You can also choose for it to linger, and it will stay there. You can't have multiple on at the same time, though. And you can also either broadcast it to others or hide it so only you can see it. Because normally with this on, other players in your game can see this. So keep that in mind. Now, the square, the only difference is you can change whether it originates from the side of the square, the corner of the square, or the center. For the circle, it's edge or center. And for the cone, you can change the angle of the cone. And you can change whether it's a rounded or a flat cone. For beams, you can change the width of the beam with this. And that's about it. Dice. So dice are a bit important. As you can see, you have all the dice here laid out. You can click on a dice. As you can see in the chat, it rolled the dice. It got a 2. This quantum atom symbol means it's a quantum, it uses a quantum system. It's pretty much like true randomness. It's not influenced by any outside factors. It is the most random you can get with a computer. And you can go from 1 to 100. Fudge, I honestly don't know, and you probably don't need to know. If you want to fudge dice, then just friggin' turn this on. As you can see, you have these tools up here. You can do inline. Inline only changes how big the dice is, so you can see it's a little small. And exploding dice is complicated. Compounding dice and penetrating dice are also complicated. Look those up. This is the advanced roller. If you have a bonus or a minus that you just want to quickly add, you go to this advanced roller, click on which type you want, and click the amount. All the target number does is it sets a difficulty class. So if you have this greater than, and you set it to 10, say I roll a d20. If I roll above I have it in line. If I roll it above a 10, see greater than 10, it will say 1 success. If I have multiple dice rolling, then it will say the number of dice that got above the target. So you see 2 successes. And you can also see your last 10 rolls here. Now, you can see formula. That gets into how you can roll with chat commands. I'll get to that in a second, but you can just re-roll from here as well. This is the turn order. Now, the turn order, I'm just going to pull things for you. Oh, I don't have Goku. Let's use, I don't know, Darth Vader. So let's say Darth Vader rolled a 10 on initiative. I can click on him. If I add a turn, then the turn order will just put him in a list. And I can give his initiative, press enter, and it will be that. I don't know why. And okay. And if I have more people on the turn order, like this guy, then I can also give him a turn. And I can use the arrows to switch between them. This is for tracking initiative in every single tabletop RPG ever. You can also click on the settings to automatically sort them, numerically descending or ascending, alphabetically from A to Z, if the tokens have names attached to them. Honestly, don't worry about that. I don't know why you would ever sort them alphabetically, but whatever. And by card and suit, nobody uses cards on Roll20. And you can even add custom items. So yeah, you can just add like, let's say you have concentration on Spirit Shroud. You can add its turn, and when it comes to it on initiative, at the bottom of initiative, you can click this off to easily track like spells and stuff. So let's say you have Spirit Shroud. That spell lasts for a number of time. I don't know what it is, but probably 1 minute. If you put -1 here and you add it, I give Spirit Shroud 10 rounds. It's basically, if I go down the order, I don't know where there's 2 of them, but once it reaches Spirit Shroud, it will automatically tick down. That's good for tracking spells. Furthermore, there is the Hide and Reveal mask. This simply allows you to hide certain areas from your players. So if I have it on hide area, I can do that, and that highlighted area will be hidden. What does that mean? Well, if I rejoin as a player, as you can see, it's black. I can't see anything under that. If Darth Vader was under that, I wouldn't be able to see him. The ways you can reveal a hidden area is through, you can either do rectangle or polygon to reveal or hide the areas. This is what polygon looks like. Wow. You just right click, there you go. You can also hide the full page and reveal the full page like that. This changes the opacity, so you can't even see it if you are stupid. Lastly, we have effects. Effects is simply for aura. Unless you pay $20 a month, then you don't have the custom effects, aka the cool ones. So most of the time you're going to forget to use effects, but if you decide to use effects, then here's how they work. You pick an effect, you click on the screen, drag, boom. And everyone can see that. Some of them are hold, and some of them are click, some of them are aim, and you can change the type, the color. Doesn't really make it look like its element too much, but meh. And lastly, the layers. Since it's on the toolbar, I'm going to cover it here. Click on the layers. You can see the different layers that we have for the tabletop. The token layer is visible to everyone. The GM layer is not visible to everyone. It is only visible to the GM. You can switch tokens and any objects on the tabletop to the GM layer and hide it from all your players. If you go to the GM layer, you can now manipulate it. If you go to the map layer, this is a layer that is not affected by when you are on the GM or the token layer. If you have a map in your library, we'll get to that in a bit, and you drag it onto your tabletop, you'll most of the time get this. I'll probably deal with that when I get to the map stuff. Just paste that. And as you can see, I can select it now since I'm on the map layer. If I'm not on the map layer, I can't. Foreground and light layer, unfortunately, too broke to be able to use those. When it comes to the token settings, basically, there's a difference between tokens that are characters. So if you go to the characters and you just drop them onto the map, and tokens you get from the art gallery. On the art gallery, you can choose whether it represents a character or not. You can give them a name. You don't have to. You can also choose who it's controlled by. You can click all players if you want it all or not. You can change the tint of the token as well. That changes the tint. A tooltip will show up whenever you highlight if you have show equipped. So fart. If I hover over them, yep, the location of the token bars will change depending on what you have this set to. The token bars are these, but you actually have to set a value for the token bars. These you can set them at any value you'd like. So if I do this, you can see this green, his HP is that. Play around with it, pretty self-explanatory, and frankly, you don't really need this, but it's there if you want. Now, we have the art gallery. The art gallery is pretty simple. As you can see, I have a bunch of Star Wars stuff because I use this account to run Star Wars. As you can see, I have a bunch of uploaded stuff that I literally just downloaded off the internet, put on here, and put in my library here. You can add folders and stuff, yada yada. This is pretty simple. I mean, it's self-explanatory, right? And if you have something in the art gallery that you would like to put on the table, then you just click on it, drag it over. Make sure you're on the right layer. I'm gonna keep that and just put it on. You can see tokens right here. When it comes to actually uploading things, if you have Opera GX, it's like the simplest shit in the universe. It's so easy. But if you don't, you'll just have to, sift through your godforsaken files, whatever it might be on your hard drive. If you're broke, you can get a good amount of free assets from Roll20. Just in general, that's where I got this cave from. It has a bunch of maps that you can just put on, townsfolk, objects, beds and things to just add to the map. If you have a subscription, then you can see them here. If you're looking for something on the marketplace or to put on your map really quickly and you don't worry about the money you're spending, you can look up something random. Snow. If I press enter, you'll see no results in my library, but it will show you some nice premium assets that you can go and look up. And if you're willing to spend the buckaroonies, just click on that and purchase asset for a low price of whatever, 99.5. It's not bad. But that's the art. It's not complicated. The big tutorial you need is the journal. So we are finally in the journal section. As you can see here, we have character and handout. If you click on character, then it spawns a character. The name is completely random. It's actually one of the wildest names I've ever seen. You can put an avatar here, and that's what the character will appear as over here and in the portrait on the sheet. And you can also put a token. That is what the character will look like when you drag and drop them onto the map. I'm probably going to show you right now a quick little website that you can go to create almost any token you want. It's very free and very useful. You can also edit your bio and info here, and all the options here and all the tools are the same as like Microsoft or whatever. You can also add your own GM notes if you are the GM. Now, for a sheet, whenever you actually start to edit your sheet, you'll see a bunch of stuff right here. you want to click Edit Sheet directly, and you'll be flashbanged by this. Now, first of all, if you click on this button, it will pull it out into its own window. So if you have multiple monitors, you can have your character sheet on one and the tabletop on the other. This is not complicated, trust me. If you know how to play D&D, this is not complicated. You just have to figure out how to actually like modify the numbers. So you'll see a bunch of gears in the corner of each one of these little boxes. But if you click on a gear, you'll be able to edit the information within its module. Nah, that doesn't work with D&D. Within its little box. So you can edit the name, pronouns, species, subverse, its background, and you can also click Go to Builder. Over here is where all your HP is, and you can even, add your saves, death saves, and give yourself proficiency in death saves if you want. You can also add your hit dice here. That's pretty important. For your abilities, to modify your abilities, do it right here. You can have advanced options as well. Override total score pretty much just allows you to ignore all this stuff and just set an ability score if you don't want to worry about math, if addition scares you. You can also modify your saving throws here. In terms of like some things that are just hidden away that are important for your character. Oh yeah, this is how you modify your initiative and your critical hit. When it comes to making an attack, I'm just going to show you how to do that. So you click Add a New, you can choose an effect, a heal, attack, weapon mastery, yada yada yada. If you click on attack, you can choose what type of attack it is, melee, range, yada yada. You can even do saving throws. And you can choose what ability the attack goes off of. And you can even have a display on hit with the attack. You can choose whether or not you're proficient. Make sure you make yourself proficient if you are in the attack. And then here we have damage. So you would set the damage type. You can click on this arrow right here to pick what type of damage it is from all the options here. You can also input your own custom damage type if you're doing like homebrew stuff. You can choose what ability to add to the damage. And you can also add the dice. You would literally type a 1 and click here to the, appropriate die that it is. Trust me when I say, like, the character sheet, as long as you, look, just keep note of all the gears in the corner of every single box. If you don't know where something is, if you don't know how to change something, it's more than likely in one of these gears. Here you can see all your spells. If you click on the gear, you can add spells, you can change your spellcasting ability, yada yada yada, spell slots. Inventory, all your gold, electro, platinum stuff. Features and traits, you add new stuff here. Notes, and about you. And this is where you can change your alignment, gender, eye color, all that stuff. Defenses are your resistances and immunities / vulnerabilities, conditions, armor, proficiencies, skills. You can choose whether or not you're half proficient, expertise. Tools, you can add tool proficiencies. Furthermore, if you're wondering what quarry roll does, basically if you were to roll animal handling, it will ask you before you roll whether you want to roll with advantage, disadvantage, yada yada yada. That's basically all you need to know about the sheet for the player side. If you are a DM, you can also change this sheet layout. This is what the standard layout looks like. It's just bigger. So yeah, you may like that. But compact shows more stuff, so I like it. It's only as complicated as you're willing to make it, frankly. And also on the sheet, if you need to roll something, if you want to roll, I don't know, an ability check, if your DM says, make a strength ability check, you would go over here, click on the number for strength, click on the square, and it will roll for you. So yeah, that's how character sheets work. At least PC character sheets, player character sheets. For NPCs, it's a little bit different, a lot more simple. When you create the character, you're going to click Build a New NPC. As you can see, it is in stat block format. You can change that if you want, but don't, because it's an NPC. Why would you have it not in the stat block? But right here you can edit, and there's a bunch of stuff. All this stuff is pretty self-explanatory. This is not a D&D guide. This is a Roll20 guide, so I'm just showing you where things are. Experiment and figure out what works for you. So the jukebox allows you to mess around with audio. You can click manage your audio and you have your tracks in your playlist. Not many people use this stuff. I'm not the most familiar with it, but I know you can create some playlists you can come here and figure out, what audio you like to add to your games. Obviously, I have my own audio.
Stupid! I'm not gonna let you get the chance.
I don't know. I don't know why this is here. It actually does give you some free audio if you'd like to use them in your game, but most of the time DMs kind of forget about this. But you can have it here if you like. So after audio, we have macros. I'm going to be completely honest. When you're just getting out into D&D, don't worry about macros. I'll deal more with macros in my pro tutorial because macros are used a lot when it comes to modding an API. Here you can also find your decks. These decks are just the same as any old playing cards. You can add a deck here, choose what kind of deck it is. You have a bunch of other options here. Now, play around with this stuff. You have, once you actually show the deck to the players, then it will come onto this screen. You can, obviously deal to people and stuff. Like I said, play around with it. It's not the most used feature on Roll20. So in Roll20, you have all these settings, and I saved this for last because this is it would be the hardest to explain if I didn't go through everything else first. So you can obviously change your display name. A lot of people don't know you can do this. You can just change your name to whatever you want. You can click here to pop out journal files into new windows. I'll just show you what that looks like. It will automatically pull it up into a new window if you click on a journal thing. High contact scroll bars. All that does is just make the scroll bar more noticeable. The zoom interface allows you to just zoom manually if you don't want to scroll. The dark mode is dark mode, light mode, yada yada. Keep it on dark mode. Token marker position. That's the little circles you saw on the tokens. You can choose where those are. And you can also choose how many token bubble bars you would like. You can add a fourth one. And you can choose how big the deck is if your DM decides to use cards. Then we have graphics. Now this area is pretty important. So the max frame rate, obviously, Roll20 can be it can actually be pretty graphically intensive for many computers. So you can turn off animated graphics here. You can cap your frame rate, and you can disable and enable various extra animated stuff. If you're wondering, disable auto sizing of assets, drops in the map layer. This, you don't need to worry about really most of these. I'd never really touched these since I use Roll20, so I don't worry about them. Lighting, texture, resolution, image texture. Yeah, you can change the texture resolutions. If you're wondering what textures does this browser have, I don't know. Audio and video, we have the master volume level. So if you want the rolling boops to be quieter, you can do that. And you can choose whether or not you want to turn on voice and video, or if you want, to see voice and video. Typically, I use Discord, so I don't use voice and video, but yeah, that's up to you. And you can choose what, mic you'd like. If you go over here to video display, probably the most important setting, you can choose the size of the avatars in the bottom left corner. So you can do large if you're a masochist, or names only if you are normal. And you can choose where it is, top, bottom. I'll keep it on top for now. Text chat. Simple stuff. We've already actually went over this. Dice options. You can enable 3D dice, which is pretty dope here. Let me show you. If you roll a d20, it rolls a d20, and it's the same color as your color on Roll20. So I can roll black dice. I said I can roll a black dice. Now you can't even see what I rolled. So you can also choose automatically roll 3D dice. Don't do that. It lags your computer. I don't have 3D dice on. I don't honestly think other people can see 3D dice unless they have it enabled. So there's really no point to me. It's just for immersion. Then we have all the keyboard shortcuts. I haven't really gone over the keyboard shortcuts because they are all right here. And if you would like, you can use the advanced keyboard shortcuts, which give you more things you can shortcut to. And they don't show you what the shortcuts are in here, but they do show you it in the manual. If you ever wanting to refer to any of the settings, or you forget something or how to use something, then you can go to the Roll20 Help Center. They have a whole manual on the entire virtual tabletop that's pretty useful. However, it's also pretty complicated. Go check it out if you'd like. They have the keyboard shortcuts for all the advanced shortcuts. Yeah, I'm just going to show them on screen here because I don't know why they don't have them on the freaking thing, but in the settings. But I don't know. ROLL20. Here you can change the character sheets and stuff. You can add certain sheets, like you can add the D&D 2024 sheet if you like. When you choose the 2024 sheet, you can just go to here and add the 2020 or the 2014 sheet, and it will allow players to choose between them. Lastly, for the settings, we have miscellaneous. The miscellaneous only contains the transmogrifier, which we will get to in the pro course. But that is for another time, because you have just completed the Roll20 course. Good job. Now you know how to use this app, and I'm screaming at certain people that I'm going to send this to once I finish it. And I hope you found this useful. I hope you found this helpful. And please have a wonderful day. Stay safe out there.